Hey, Susanna, how's it going?
Mr. Joe Mendoza. I'm well. How are you?
Doing awesome, doing awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are at Commercial Real Estate Investor Club again. You're probably seeing us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever, but we're super glad you're watching this recording. Susanna and I, we're going to be talking about real estate, investing, what's going on the market. So, Susanna, how's it going over there? You're in Arizona. I'm here in California. What kind of stuff are you seeing lately?
Joe, it's a very volatile market right now as far as interest rates are concerned, and that is, of course, affecting all kinds of real estate. And we, of course, focus on commercial. So I think all this volatility in Arizona, and probably not just Arizona, but nationwide, is creating some opportunities. Some people are kind of starting to stand back and say, oh, do we want to let the chips kind of fall before we make any decisions? But the good news about it is that rates are coming down quite significantly for especially multifamily. Those are kind of more streamlined because they're typically based on the 10-year or 5-year treasury bill plus a spread. So we have seen some definite gains on that side of it. And as everybody probably knows, the number of transactions has been down just because rates have been so much higher than they were, let's say, 3 years ago. So this is helping quite a bit.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the same thing over here where I saw an ad the other day that really I've been talking about this for a while, maybe the last couple years, since COVID hit and office vacancies went through the roof. There's some people that actually need an office. And I saw this ad, Susanna. I mean, I'd love to hear your feedback on it. It says, why lease when you can own for less? Owner benefits, appreciation, depreciation tax write-off, lock in and control your occupancy costs, expand and contract within your own building, control your commute time, 10% down payment available. And this was in the San Diego Business Journal. Good old CBRE posted it. And like I said, I've been talking about this for the last maybe 2 years that, hey, where there's adversity, there's opportunity.
That's always true. So CBRE, were they specifically talking about office or other asset classes too?
Yeah, so they posted here a multiple of different office listings that looks like they might have within their office. And I mean, there's 11,000 square feet for 10 million, 8,000 for 3 million, and it's in a very reputable magazine, San Diego Business Journal, that I subscribe to it. I know a lot of professionals subscribe to it. And yeah, it's a big ad for I guess trying to sell their listings.
It makes sense. I think if you own a business and you have a need for an office, now is definitely the time to consider that. I mean, some of those prices were literally prohibitive, even just, like you said, before COVID, right? So COVID, of course, caused the office market to soften significantly, in some place more than others. But throughout all that, we have done deals where owners were buying into their own owner occupied office. And those are the instances where you can, get into it for 10% down. But we also have done investor deals, especially for garden office. And you have plenty of that inventory available in San Diego as well. So I can't say that I disagree. Depends on the deal, of course, as always. But like you said, the volatility creates opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, this client that I'm going to mention, but I won't go into too many details. He's like, I could lease or I could own. And I'm like, man, just buy, maybe go 10% SBA. He's a very reputable attorney here in San Diego, and their lease is coming up due. And I'm like, man, this is a time. I mean, if you could buy, you're positioned to buy, buy.
And you have all those tax benefits, right? So we all know how real estate works and why it's such a desirable um, vehicle, not just for investments, but certainly if you have the need for an office for sure. And then the other thing too is it's sometimes hard to make a decision at any given moment. But then 2 years from now, you're going to go, oh my God, I should have bought. I should have bought. That was an opportunity. So I would encourage your clients or anybody who's thinking about it, just look into it. Just look into it, price it out. Like, what is it going to cost here? What is it going to cost there? Or maybe just start looking. Doesn't mean you're committed, because the deal still has to make sense and it has to be right. But if you don't start the process, then how will you know? And then that way, 2 years from now, or however long it's going to take for the market to change, it seems like these days we don't know. It could be a lot sooner than we think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's switch gears a little bit. As an investor, because you've got a extensive background in investing as well. What are your thoughts? I mean, what kind of opportunities are you possibly seeing as an investor?
You know, there has been a lot said about a couple of different things that are kind of new to the commercial market, and one of them is conversion. So we've had quite a few conversion from, specifically, I think most of the conversions were from hospitality to multifamily, just because there's a housing shortage and housing is just still uh, just overpriced, right, relative to the wages. So there have been quite a few of those done quite successfully. We've had a couple of attempts at converting office into multifamily as well. And then in other markets, industrial has always done really well here. And then now with the rates coming down, multifamily, which has been so challenging because that is so sensitive to rates, that's starting to now make more sense. And if we can hold the rates down more toward a reasonable level, I think those transactions are going to pick up.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm glad you said that because some folks out there, they're fixing flippers. I'm coaching some right now in like Riverside County. They're on a run to do, 3 to 6 flips a month. And I'm also telling them, you know what, think a little bit differently where you could do a different type of flip, like you mentioned, a repositioning deal. So I have another buddy who's a very successful investor. For a while, he was buying these hotel, motel, boutique type of deals, and then he would turn them into converted bachelor suites or studios where people could actually live there. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because, as people are watching this and listening to this, I really want to help them think out of the box. I really want them to embrace change and opportunity. And I'm so glad you said that, Susanna.
Well, so just along the same lines, let me give you another example of we had a client that just did something so unusual. But he basically, his idea was he wanted to buy commercial buildings that nobody else wanted, and he converted them into music studios, right, for bands or musicians to practice because they need their own space since they can't, do this at home. You have a drummer or, somebody practicing the trumpet is, not feasible. And he started out small, but his focus was specifically, I buy buildings that nobody else wants and I'll make them work. And his income was really substantial and he made it work. But what if, office is a pretty broad uh, category. I mean, you might look into doing something creative like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because I've seen people become successful just by being creative about the use of the space.
Absolutely. And I would just caution some folks, don't go too big too soon because in San Diego, for a minute there, there's this big plaza. I mean, it's massive. I don't know how many square feet, but these folks got in there for a reposition play. They turned this whole shopping plaza, they were going to go ahead and convert it into residential, retail, mixed use, all of the above. And now they're actually in trouble where if they don't come up with 300 plus million, they have to foreclose and give the keys back. And so I would just kind of caution you guys out there. That's why you want to reach out to Susanna or myself. I mean, we've got a very robust underwriting software that if you're looking at a deal, please reach out. If you're an investor or you need some kind of coaching or anything like that, we've got a high level of expertise, experience, and the software to figure those deals out. I mean, what are your thoughts? inclusive of that, Susanna?
Absolutely. Before doing anything, you make sure you have good advisors around you. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that in anything commercial, experience is very important, and any lender is going to take that into consideration, whether it's a bank or credit union or even debt funds, including some, private lenders as well. So just be aware of what is required, not only to complete the project, but also to get approved. So experience is a big part of it. Some projects require less experience and some require more. If you want to buy small multifamily, you may not need a ton, but if you're doing a conversion, especially a large one, that's going to be scrutinized quite a lot more.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Was there anything else you wanted to add today for our audience? I know we're going to be doing this regularly, but is there any special message, anything you're seeing that you want to mention?
I think the other thing that I would like your audience to know, that not only can you provide, coaching and guidance on commercial real estate, but we also work quite a bit with syndicators and people who want to basically use other people's money to do projects that they maybe couldn't otherwise do themselves, or even if they could, eventually your own capital becomes the bottleneck and you need to kind of think bigger, like what's down the road, right? So we can provide a lot of guidance on that. We have a lot of deals that are either syndicated or we work with funds as well.
Yeah, that one day we were working on a deal together, Susanna, and I was like, my eyes went about that wide because when somebody presented the actuals, this property was like underperforming. I think the DSCR was just under 1%. And then we didn't totally blow him off because he came in guns blazing and he showed us a really solid performa, really strong comps, and was able to bring that DSCR to two, up to two, I think close to 2 point, over almost 2%. And it
Yeah,
was one of those things that, guys, if you're out there looking at these deals and you're not sure, I mean, definitely bring it to Susanna or myself.
that was the one-time close too, right? I think
That's the one.
we were able to, yeah, we were able to make that fit into a one-time close product. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. I remember that phone call vividly.
Yep,
So yeah,
yep,
just
yep.
keep
So
making your audience aware that, commercial real estate does require quite a bit of creativity and agility.
sounds good. Sounds good. Anything else you wanted to add, Susanna?
You know what? We live in very exciting times. Nobody knows what's around the corner. So let's stay on our toes and let's invite as many people as as you're reaching out to learn more about the opportunities that are presenting these days.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free. Like I said, I don't know if you're watching us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. I mean, I'm putting myself out there. You could see that I've been around the business a long, long time. I'm very open book. I'm not afraid to share anything, everything, and I'm here to help. Commercial Real Estate Investor Club is the club for you. If you're in San Diego, we have 3 events coming up in person. Okay, in person. If you're not in San Diego, that's exactly why we're doing these kind of trainings and webinars. But if you're in San Diego on April 23rd, in San Marcos, May 7th, June 17th, 3 different events. Make sure you save the date, save it in your calendar. 5:30 p.m. San Marcos. It's on our website. You could probably see it on the ticker there or somewhere on the link below. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Susanna, thank you again for being on the show.
Yeah, you're always welcome, Joe. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day, guys.